So, so what happened here is most of
Yeah.
these AMAs are the same, and most of them are just terrible. They're really commercials that people do for their own chain. And I would rather talk to you about where the industry's going. I'd rather talk about thought leadership. I mean, I created Bonk and Pepe and lots of top tier tokens. So I'd really like to talk about what's happening in this industry. And then why Pandora is going to take advantage of the trends. But people want to learn something. They don't want to hear a commercial.
Sorry. Can you hear me clearly?
Now I hear you.
Yeah, okay. Very nice. Sorry. I was just trying to change my location to make sure my internet was actually perfectly working fine. Yeah, so I heard you when you were talking about everybody wants to just do their AMAs as a commercial, and
Yeah.
it's to an aspect I kind of agree with you because unfortunately we've been able to to meet with some couple of projects in the past, and sometimes they come on board and you don't really see the future of what they're trying to build basically, and sometimes you could see the future, but it is actually, forgive my language, a little bit trash. So sometimes it could be a little bit of a headache. So that's why when you made mention of it being a commercial, I was like, yeah, it's true.
No, and look, nobody wants to hear these commercials. They just don't, and I think it's insulting to the audience. There's also people ask ridiculous technology questions. I don't know why. You know, a lot of the technology is very, very universal. The whole point of this, the reason we're successful, the reason our tokens are successful is because of our marketing and our sales. Not because we have slightly better tech, which is only relevant to the person who built it. I mean, we do deal with top technology, but so what?
Yeah, I get the points. I get the points. Thank you so much. But first, I want to give a quick overview or a quick summary about Pandora. Um, so, community, the Pandora chain is actually a public blockchain platform that is actually designed for complex computing. Now, some of the key features include a high performance computing. So the Pandora chain is actually claimed to have 5,000 transactions per second. So it's optimized for complex calculating or
Can't hear you.
sorry, I hope you can hear me clearly now.
Yeah, no, I can.
Yeah, okay. So one other feature they have is the cross-chain compatibility. So Pandora Chain supports interoperability with other blockchain platforms. Now, the ecosystem consists of a DAO governance and ecological partners and much more of community engagements. Now, while during the talks with Bill, I'm more interested to find out some of their tools and their resources, which includes their gas station, their mining pool, their community, their block browser, and also their wallet on the cross-chain app. So to find out in the course of our AMA session here with Bill, and who's going to be representing Pandora Chain. So Bill, if you are okay and good with it, could you start us off quickly with some brief introduction about yourself, where you're from, and when you actually got into crypto?
So, like I was telling our host before offline, I don't really want to do a commercial for Pandora. We are uniquely poised to take advantage of where the industry is going. And I've done a million of these AMAs, and I go to a lot of them. And I don't want to hear an advertisement for how great everyone is. I want to hear about where the industry is heading by people who are leading the industry. So I was one of Cardano's CMOs. I've been in the industry 11 years. Makes me a dinosaur, an old man, a gray beard. I've created some of the top tier blockchain, some of the top tokens that are in the top 20. And I'm now with Pandora. Pandora, their goal is to get to the top 20. Well, everyone's goal is, right? So again, I'm not telling you anything unique. The industry came to me. I didn't come to it. There is a lack of people in the industry who know really how to market and really how to sell. And I don't care how good your website is or how many blog posts you do. You're not going to get Walmart to go onto your chain through tweets. You've got to get on planes, and you've got to put on a suit, and you've got to talk to these executives, and you've got to help them understand their problems. And that's really a differentiator for us. We have an older team, a team that has been in a lot of other industries and came to blockchain. So this idea of going back to the very basics of sales and marketing, and I always use a little rhyme, when all else fails, it's marketing. And folks, don't trust me. Don't listen to me. Go to any of the blockchain websites, any of the token websites. It's all about them. Well, in sales, it shouldn't be about them. It should be about the user, the customer. And I don't know why the industry hasn't grasped that. It's probably why there's 3 million tokens out there, and only 19,000 of them are worth more than $50,000. So again, look at those odds. So what we bring to the table is senior management, and that's a very, very big differentiator. So we can talk to BlackRock, we can talk to Target, we can talk to Ford. We're able to have those discussions. So that's who I am. I've cut lots of deals in the past with a lot of large corporations, and that's what we're going to do here at Pandora. The technology, it's excellent. I mean, we're faster than Solana. Our goal is to we do these complex computations. We've got everything that the chains have. We've got the DAOs. We've got the wallets. Our host was talking about why Pandora. We went with Greek mythology. If you go to pandorachain.org, you'll see, all kinds of Greek gods and Greek goddesses. Pandora is the gas fee token. Zeus is the token that stakes and provides hash power when you buy it.
I like it. Now, someone actually brought it to my notice today that sometimes when I host an AMA, because basically I'm most times the host on our community here, so I kind of like represent the rest of the team. But a friend of mine who was actually one of the community members actually sent me a message today, and he was like, most times when I host an AMA, he notices that I don't most times get my questions from what I've actually prepared down already. He says he noticed that I pick my questions that I asked the representatives from what they actually said or what they actually mentioned, and unfortunately I might be doing it again tonight. So basically, I heard when you talked about how you've been able to make up some partnerships and had some business deals with some big corporations in the past, and you're trying to build the same thing for Pandora and have Pandora push up to that level. You also made mention of being faster, your blockchain being faster than Solana, which is really, really good, and I love it. Now, are there any bigger corporations or partnerships that you are trying to achieve for Pandora for the coming 2025/2026?
Yes. I won't tell you the names of the companies because it hasn't been announced yet, but we're going after a very, very large banking chain, which has got several thousand branches around the world. And that would be used for their own internal payments. So none of their customers would know about it. It's kind of like how Visa card works. Most of you have a Visa card. And most of you don't know that most Visa transactions are happening on chain. So you buy a beer in London and you have to pay for it in Australia. That transaction goes to the chain. You don't know that it's on the chain, nor do you really care, right? You just want your transaction taken care of. They don't pass any of those savings on to you, by the way. They don't say, hey, we'll give you a break because we're paying 5 cents a transaction. So if you really want to play the Visa card game, buy stock in Visa or MasterCard. So we feel that if we get a toehold on the internal payments of this banking system, it'll reduce their costs, their stock will go up. That's why I can't tell you who it is, because it would be insider trading for me to reveal the name. You'd buy the stock and I'd get blamed, and I don't need that. We're also going after a couple of governments. And governments, as you know, have lots and lots and lots of vendors. And this is a more efficient way to pay. So if you took a look at the US government, which has probably about 500,000 vendors, they're all over the world. Sure, we're buying US stuff, but we're also buying stuff from Asia, Europe, for the US government. It's not the US government. They're not talking to us yet, but we'll get to them. We're also going after the remittance business. Remittance is a business where people send money home. So think in we have Mexicans, we have Filipinos, we have Indians. These are the top 3 groups that send money home, and they pay huge transaction fees. Western Union charges 8%. So if you're spending $100 and you're sending it to your mother in Mexico, it's $92. They've taken 8, and that's 2 bags of groceries. That's meaningful. We can get that transaction down to 10 or 15 cents. Now, the people in that business don't want that. They want that $8. However, they're going to have to come our way. And the best example I can give you, folks, is think of the internet. When the internet came out, it actually came out in the 70s in France, and then in the 80s for the US military. But when it became common in the 90s, there were a lot of publications and TV channels that refused to adopt it. They said it's new and it's never going to work and it's stupid and it's techie. Well, every magazine that didn't pick up an internet presence is pretty much out of business. Pretty much out of business. Almost every one. So the remittance companies are going to be forced to work on chain. So what's the sale? Well, the sale is very simple. Do you want to use our chain, which is built, or do you want to use your own chain, which will take 2 years to build, and you have to go through all the growing problems we went through? It breaks, it doesn't work, it gets hacked. So these are the kinds of deals we're going after. We're very, very active in Asia. Most of our management is from Asia, and we're going after some Chinese brands. So they can do their own stuff on chain, their own stuff on loyalty. So they're starting with the loyalty programs, moving towards internal transactions, and ultimately, we would like their payments to be expressed in Pandora with vendors and customers.
Absolutely. It's to be honest, that's really, really big. Really, really. I mean, because going into the banking system, going into the remittance business, it's large. It's really large, and adding up a super fast computing technology to these kind of industries is going to be just mind blowing. Okay, that's on that. That's on partnership. So the next question I actually had on was based off on credibility and much more on licensing. So you made mention of working with these industries or planning to work with these industries in the coming years, and that you guys are going to be growing forward. You also talked with partnering up with some companies or working with China and some countries in Asia. Now, question basically is, what's the level of licensing that you are planning to achieve if it will be necessary for Pandora itself? So what's the level of licensing that you are planning to achieve to remove any issue with any governmental issue policies like the SEC see.
Okay, so first of all, we don't have to license use of the chain because we're an open chain and public, and I think that that's a key thing. There are governments that will not allow public blockchains to operate. So we have a choice. We can spend $10 million a year and fight them, or we can let Ethereum do it. I mean, so there's no reason for us to do that. I'd rather put the money back into marketing. And the mistake people make is they think that they can regulate a customer. They think if we get the Swiss government to adopt this, we'll then get customers. You still have to go after customers. And this is the mistake that so many chains are making. They're spending all this time, money, and effort talking to governments who will incidentally never write them a check. And I know I sound like a sales guy, right? But I am. I'm a sales guy from New York City. And I think that's the crucial differentiator. So it's public. Because it is blockchain, it has no barriers. So, you have development in Singapore, you have offices in China, you have sales forces in Spain. There are no barriers. So licensing is a little bit of an old-fashioned way of looking at the industry.
Okay. So, like you, I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard not to. I'm trying so hard not to focus on some of the things you've said and then pick up a question from there.
Why don't you let me take it from here?
Yeah, it's just a habit, and it has actually something that has actually I need to work on get taking over some the mastery over me. But it's something that has actually affected me for over the years. I actually just pick up questions from what the whole from what the interviewer has been saying, or from what the guest has been saying, and then go dish it back to them. But okay, so going back to my notes now. I'm gonna try not to pick up a question from what you said. So going back to my notes, so I want to talk about let me see. Okay, so how exactly does Pandora Chain PD rollup solution? How does it handle complex computing tasks, and what are the advantages over traditional rollup solutions?
Oh my God, too technical. Too technical. The whole point is to offer rollup as a service, and so a lot of chains, they have to do their own rollups, and because we're cross chain, we can combine rollups. And I think that's a key differentiator. But the problem with technology differentiators, and I hope everyone's listening to this, is the technology changes so fast that the differentiator disappears. So in tests, we have found we are faster and cheaper than Solana. But I don't know who's coming tomorrow. I keep going back to the same thing, guys. It's all about sales and marketing. It's never about the tech. It will never be about the tech. This is an iPhone. It is not the best phone out there. It's the best phone you know of out there, perhaps. You might use Android, but it is not the best one. The best one is one I've held in my hand. It's unbreakable. It does heat waves. It does distance waves. It does a million more things than this, but no one knows about it because no one sold it. No one marketed it. So I'm going to keep going back to that. And I know I sound a little bit like I'm trying to be evasive, but I'm actually not. I mean, that's what's the differentiator. The reason Bonk was so successful was not the tech. Bonk is a meme coin. Doge is a meme coin. Doge is worth $50 billion today, and it has nothing to do with tech. It's a picture of a dog. But it was beautifully promoted. And I really want to steer your audience that way. So when you think of launching your own projects, which I'm sure many of you are doing, spend less on the tech and much more on the marketing. So when I walked into Pandora, we had 40 people in tech and we had 2 people in marketing. And I said, we need to switch that. We didn't really switch it, but that's the mentality. So I'm sorry if I've been evasive. That's not my goal.
It's fine. It's more of for to be honest, myself, I'm not really a tech guy, but over the years, with a lot of experiences, with a lot of people I've met, and fortunately for me, actually, my younger brother actually is into web design and the like, so I've been able to pick up one or two things from tech. But I'm much the marketing aspect myself. I prefer to be able to talk to people, especially with word of mouth. Let people know what you have, what you're trying to bring into the space. It goes further than just letting it goes further than just telling people that, okay, we have this that we're going to do and it's going to do that. But then when you talk to people, when you let people know what you're having, when you preach, let me use the word preach, what you're trying to bring into the space, it goes further. It goes further than what other things you might plan. I do agree with that. I literally do.
Let me leave you with something, because 30 minutes of me is more than enough. And you want to keep these things short and sweet. Let me tell you where this industry is going. The industry is worth $3.7 trillion now. That makes it the second biggest company in the world. Companies whose names you know are using it. Announced today that they're going to spend billions of dollars on Bitcoin. They're just going to buy it because they're scared of the US dollar. They're scared of the US dollar under Trump. And they're hedging against US currency. We have something called the Fortune 500 in the States. That's 500 of the biggest companies. 350 of them own some kind of crypto. 100 of them are using blockchain in business enterprises. The remittance business is $2 trillion worldwide. We did $100 billion in remittance last year. Top brands now have Web3 officers. They have metaverse officers to discover and understand this metaverse. We can launch a token very, very inexpensively with a couple of mouse clicks. It's a direction Pandora is going into. We want level 2 and layer 2 tokens built on our chain. And we never will, but we'll get it down to 1 or 2 clicks so that anyone can launch a token. Everything is being tokenized. Staunch companies that hate crypto, like BlackRock, is a great example. They're the biggest asset manager in the world. Well, guess what? They've got the largest crypto fund in the world now. They opened it about a year ago. It's called Buidl, B-U-I-D-L. And BlackRock, one of the things they have is a lot of real estate. So they took $100 billion in real estate and they said, we're going to tokenize this real estate, $5 million a token. Maybe out of your price range, maybe out of mine, but that's where they're going. So that I can buy your token with no lawyers, no brokers, no middlemen. I can buy it 24/7 and I can trade it. And I can keep a royalty if I want, just the way you buy any token, just the way you buy any NFT. That's where the industry is going. We're right in the middle of it, guys. Faster, scalable, and interoperability. That's what everybody's saying. I don't want to say it again because everybody's preaching it, but that's the answer. I'd like to leave you now because I've got another one of these I've got to do. I hope I was informative and helpful. Take a look at us, pandorachain.com.
You were literally helpful, and I do appreciate you taking your time to come up, to come talk to us about the project. It was really, really amazing. Appreciate you. I wish we had much more time to talk more. Had a lot of community questions actually coming in to my DMs. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to get some of these community questions, go through a lot of some of them, and then send them over to you later on and get the answers to these questions sent back to these community members. But thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate you. I'll just sort of make one quick announcement to the community that Bio and his team have actually been generous enough to give out about 5,000 or 10,000 of the PDA token. But thank you so much, everybody. What another thing I'm gonna do is, okay, I see some of you raising up your hand. So one thing I'm gonna do is get some of you muted. So you could just ask your question live here on VC, and I will send the recording straight up to him and have him answer the questions back to me as text. So Joella, got you muted. You just ask your question, and then I'll ship the recording straight up to Bill, and then get your questions answered to you guys. Joella, I hope you're having a wonderful day, Joe.
Yeah, I am. And how is your day been?
My day was a little bit stressful. Had my day job take up a little bit of my time. But then I'm okay. I'm back home. Just got home. Prepared for the AMA actually. It's just
Okay.
unfortunate we can't be for a long time.
Yeah, I thought it was going to stay for a very long time because
Yeah.
the project is kind of complex.
Yeah.
Mm. So can I go ahead with my question? So,
Yeah. Yeah. Just go ahead with your question.
okay. So one of the things I noticed about the Pandora chain on the website is that it has implemented the DID identity model. So I was wondering if you could share more light on that for us because I really don't understand the DID identity model. So maybe if he gets to listen to the recording, he will answer that. And maybe I'll also join the TG group. So that's my question.
Joella, for those questions. It was really, really amazing. Thank you. I'll get your questions sent to him and then have him send the answer back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you too. I see ES Trigger Network. Hi, ES. Okay, before you go, ES. It's been a while. We heard from Mysterio. Hi, Mysterio. Hi, Mysterio.
Yeah, hello. Okay. Am I allowed to speak now?
Yeah, you're allowed to speak. Just send in your question that you want and get.
Okay. My question is pretty simple. While I was going through the websites, I see that this Pandora chain is a network that will grow. The way this project is being portrayed on the website, it looks like a network that will grow. And I believe that it will continue to grow. But Pandora chain plans to handle scalability as the network continues to grow. I'd like to get more info on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'll try as much as possible to get each and every one of your questions answered. Yes, you are unmuted. Yes, how you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day too. ES Trigger Network. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you for coming in.
Uh, um, he talked so much about marketing. So I just want him to explain the areas of marketing he would like to delve into. How he plans on going about his marketing, strategic points he wants to do for marketing. Marketing so much. So I want to hear how he's going to go about the marketing aspect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I think he actually talked a little on that. He gave um a little bit of an insight on that, where he talked about some of the partnerships that they are actually planning on getting, and when he talked about moving into the remittance industry and also the banking system. I think that is actually one of their means for marketing and pushing. I think he also talked about mouth to mouth means for telling people or marketing the project, based on the fact that he's not trying to sell a commercial to you or to each of the users. But I'll send the recording to him, and I hope your questions are actually being answered. I will just take one last question from Liz Noel, who was asking, what are the measures you have to overcome the various challenges that will be encountered during the various stages of your utility development, and to what extent can these measures bring a win result to the team and to the project? That is one of the question. And his last question was, what key performance indicators will be used to show the progress of the depicted goals? Those are some of the questions that they have. But Bill, thank you so much. I hope you're still here, but I think you've jumped out. But when you listen to the recording. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. I really do appreciate you. And so, community, it's really, really good to have each and every one of you join us today. We should be having another AMA tomorrow, so jump in, and then we'll see where we'll go from there. We'll have a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Good night.